Hey everybody, this is Mike from A to Zen. I am here with some special guests from Odyssey Tattoo. I got Marshall, Michelle, and Bria with me. Just wanted to sit down. We're neighbors. Get to know each other a little bit. You kind of came in and we started riffing, and here we are. We might be doing some stuff together, but the first thing I want to do is just ask you about the tattoo shop and what you got going on.
Great. We opened in December 1st.
Okay.
And Odyssey Tattoo is it's kind of like what Michelle and I envision, the ideal tattoo shop being for us, where we'd want to go in, where it's clean and it's light and very welcoming. Just a good,
Right.
good community spot where we can get to know the public and do our art and do it the way that we want and have the sort of energy and the environment that we'd like to go into to get tattooed.
Well, you brought in Bria. So what does that mean? What is that art and energy? Describe that.
Well, energy, so our slogan is your friendly neighborhood tattoo shop.
Your friendly neighborhood tattoo shop.
So very friendly and inviting. People, they say, oh, it's so homey in here. And they want to, they kick their feet up, they hang out. And it's just a place to really get to know the community and to also foster creativity. So we have a lot of artwork hanging and encourage people to bring in their art and improve upon their own art skills, and that's why it's nice to have Bria. She's got a lot of art background.
Yeah. I know that I just came in for a tattoo and I ended up staying.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, every day since.
Yeah. I literally, since that first day that I went in there and got a tattoo, as soon as I walked into that shop, I was like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen a shop that has white walls. This feels so nice in here. It was just welcoming and pleasant. And as soon as I started getting tattooed, I just felt more comfortable than I've been in, several of the shops that I've been in before. I've been back and forth in between the industry, and I've been in the art world for about 16 years.
Wow.
So I actually just recently closed my art business that I was running myself last year in September. So I had planned to give myself a hiatus for about a year and ended up being part of Odyssey Tattoo, and I don't think I would want to go back anyway.
Wow.
So, but the moment that I stepped in there and the experience that I received, I was like, I really want to be a part of this. And the thought of not growing with this little shop in this community was so heartbreaking. So I gave a lot of effort and time, and turns out that Marshall and Michelle actually enjoyed my company too. So I was like, well, what if I stay?
Well, I guess timing is just what it should be, as we're getting to know each other. I actually hope I can plug in and we can do some community stuff together, because it's really hard to describe, but there's a resonance in what it appears you're doing and what I'm doing, and everything you're describing is really meaningful to me as well, where somebody walks through the door and the first thing they feel is at home.
That's really important. I grew up in retail. My dad had a game and comic store in Boise, Idaho, called Dark Horse Games, and so I grew up in that store and working there. And as you can imagine, or you may know, that you're going to get a kind of predominantly eclectic and unusual,
Right.
demographic that comes into a game store and a comic store. And,
Right.
and it was really important to my dad to make sure that everybody feels comfortable there, no matter what, no matter how weird they appear, or just if they want to geek out on everything, this is the place to do it. Go for it. You're in the right place. And it was kind of a stinky shop, like an old, like an old building with a guy who made pipes next door. So it always smelled like burnt wood and just sort of a weird vibe. But
That sounds awesome to me, actually.
For 20 years.
Sounds a little bit like A to Zen, actually.
There's a little bit of a vibe like that in here, and I like that a lot. It's real, and it puts people at ease. Having just a place where it's comfortable, and you're welcome to come in and whatever. You just got off work and you smell bad, that's fine. Nobody's going to make you feel judged coming into a shop,
Wow.
for your appearance or for how geeked out you are on one specific thing or whatever it may be.
Your economic status, your age.
Yeah.
We
Doesn't
get
matter.
16-year-olds with their parents coming in. We get 60-year-olds coming in. So, that's not always the case in a lot of other shops as far as the older clientele. Again, every skin is different, and so I think that just providing that option for every type of people has been something that's important to us.
Well, and everybody's story is different too. We'll get the single mom in with her kids, and we're willing to sit there and give them the time. We want to have them there because we want to learn about them. We want to care about the tattoo just as much as you do.
Wow.
That's important too. I mean, getting a tattoo for a lot of people it's a big event. People
Really personal. That
It is,
actually
yeah.
just struck me as you were saying that, because I don't have one. My daughter's a walking mural.
It tends to be very
But I mean-
personal and very important to the individual, and the actual event of getting the tattoo is a big deal for a lot of people. Even if it's not, really consciously something that is like a defining moment, they're going to remember where they got that special tattoo, and they're going to remember the experience that they had. So we really,
Wow.
I really try and put as much care and effort into each tattoo as the person has for getting it. Does that make sense? So it's not, each client isn't just another client or just another drawing. We're trying to match the energy of what that person is doing with their tattoo, why they want the tattoo or what they're feeling, what they're there for. We get to know each customer, and a lot of people call it tattoo therapy.
That's my daughter. I
Yeah.
mean, what you're saying, and you brought it out when you brought it up, and the willingness to, say, take the single mom and get, because I imagine so many tattoos are, I'm searching for a term, but they're a marker for either a significant event or a milestone in their life. Like my daughter is a walking mural, but I mean, they represent friends that have passed away, or they represent very, very monumental aspects. And if you guys are willing to take the time to actually get to know that,
That's important. That's really
I
important.
could see how that's huge. I mean, that's one thing where I myself do not have any tattoos. I've considered it a bunch, but it's like, how do you hand a piece of art off that somebody's going to put on my body, and how do I communicate what it means to me so that they take it serious enough? Am I making sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And I
for
think
sure.
Bria
Well,
probably has some things to say here. Didn't you used to interpret
Yeah,
like
so
visions or something like that?
so
artistically?
one of the churches that I used to be with, I was the prosthetic painter. So
Prophetic painter? Is that what
yeah,
you said?
sorry,
What is it?
prophetic.
What does that mean?
So like if they would have like a spiritual moment with God or something like that, they would come and sit down with me, and they would explain what they saw or what they felt, and I would paint it out as they told me their story.
You can do that with art?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do with art. Art is not limited in any way, shape, or form. It's just a matter of who is taking that art from you and receiving it, or the way that they interpret it. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what we're talking about too, is that each individual person that comes in is a way for not us to interpret the art, but to relay the way that they visualize it.
That's huge. Wow.
And that's how we came up with the name Odyssey for our shop, is because life is a journey. And like you were saying about your daughter, each piece of ink on her body represents a moment in time. And so that's we're joining the journey, right? We're being a part of that person's, whether it is a memorial or if it represents something from their childhood or best friend tattoos, things like that. And so we recognize that we become part of their life journey, and they become part of ours. And we remember everybody who comes in. Their name might not be on the tip of our tongue, but as soon as we see that tattoo, everything comes back, and we remember that what brought them in and so getting to know people when they come back, it's we know more of their personality, more of their style, more of what they're getting out of the tattoo experience, because it takes all kinds. Some people love doodles, some people love flowers, some people love they only want things that represent somebody in their life, if it's a pet or a child or a beloved grandparent. And so, getting to know their style and getting to know what, it, because the art needs to complement that person and who they are inside. And so finding, bringing that out and letting them display that in something that makes them feel happy every time they see it, or makes them smile, or makes them remember. That's something that we find beautiful.
You guys actually take the time to do that with a client.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're going to sit down with somebody and they're going to allow you to injure them, and
Right.
permanently mark them.
I'm a needle
it's
folk
a-
too.
it's a-
That's the other reason I don't have tattoos.
And it's a little bit of an,
I can't even get a blood draw.
it's by definition, it's an intimate experience, right? You're letting somebody hold on to a part of your body and manipulate it and then injure it and mark it permanently. Like that's a big deal. So we really, I mean, I don't really understand. I don't think that you can do that without talking to the person that you're working with, because you're
Yeah, but
working
not
with their
everybody
body.
does that. I've been around, and even though I don't have them, I've been into plenty
it
of
depends.
tattoo shops, and there's plenty of conveyor belt
the industry has a reputation.
tattoos.
right?
No offense
There's
to
a-
those shops, but I mean,
Sure.
hey,
There's
I
an
want a
industry,
dragon. Well, here's our catalog of dragons. Pick one. No, I want it to represent overcoming this fear. That's a different thing.
That is different, right?
When you're talking like a prophetic interpretation, then that gets really big to me. And
Sometimes the stuff that's in the book does speak to people too, and
Right.
that's great. But I mean, the industry does have kind of a reputation for, I wouldn't say for being hostile, but
More self-centered, I guess. More about
yeah, a lot of ego.
yeah.
You get
my
into
art on
get into
you,
music,
not
you get into art.
art
There's
for you.
wow.
There's some of that, but I don't. That doesn't represent every tattoo artist. I mean, every person's an individual, and I mean, I've been tattooed by awesome people. Like it's mostly it seems like
Well, it's
you're
probably like-
working with artists, and everybody's got an off day or here or there, but
Yeah, we're all team human. I mean,
yeah.
so
But there is sort of a yeah, that's right. There is
Well, and I
I
think
think
it's easy to get to that point too. I think because when you are churning out art every day, it can be emotionally exhausting. It can be, and physically, it's a very physical job, and so it does get tiring. And so, but always coming back to that center of this is why we're doing it. This is what motivates us, and it's shared experience, community, love and beauty, that sort of thing.
I think it also comes down to an environmental situation as well. As somebody who's been, again, back and forth in the industry, there have been places that I have worked where the environment itself was toxic, which relayed the art or the experience.
Oh, you mean like how the coworkers or the different artists interacted with each
Yeah,
other and just
I had a lot of bad experiences where just because I was a female, I was stuck with answering the phones or getting sandwiches, even though I myself was an artist. And granted, since then, the tattoo world has changed, but that still left a really dark stain on me and my experience with it for a long time. But also now, as an artist where I am today, with all of my growth and all of the heart that I've been putting into myself and my art for years,
Right.
there's still places where I walk in and I still try to be very, translucent with it, where I just like, hey, this is your space. Show me what your space is about. Make me want to be in your space. Let me care about what you're doing in your art. And where we're at now, I've never felt more actual at home, where I can soak my roots into it and actually just kind of prosper with it. There's nothing holding me back in my current environment, which is very awesome for me.
that speaks volumes about you guys. Wow.
I'd say it's-
We also have a lot of fun.
Yes. Sorry to get
Yeah.
really deep there, guys.
No,
We take it seriously, but not in we like to banter, we like to laugh. I think that's something that really marks us as well, is that we're there to have a good time. Like some of the stuff that we take it all very seriously, but we're pretty goofy. I guess you could say.
it sounds like it. I'm gonna have to come over. I still haven't been in your guys' shop. I'll be across the way soon.
Come check it out.
Check it out.
Yeah, and we get a lot of for only being open, not even 6 months. And I mean, honestly, we got our first client on December 31st. We opened on the 1st. That's when we were licensed.
Wow.
So it's really been the last like 3 months, but we have a lot of repeat customers. A lot of people come back because they like it. They like being there. They feel comfortable, even if they have to wait around for a couple of hours. It's a good experience, and that means that it's a good experience for us. So everybody who comes through the door is contributing to this, this energy of just comfort and community, and getting to know more people in town, and understanding what's going on in this town, in this community, and the surrounding area where people work, and what they do, where their kids go to school, and what's on their minds, and why they're here, why Carson City.
Yeah, what they love about the city, what they, we've learned a lot of things, what to do with kids or where they like to go, and just things that, find new venues, new restaurants, things that we hadn't thought of, new places to, patronize in the local community, because, it's easy to get stuck in a little bubble. You go to that store, you go to that restaurant. And so to really hear people get excited about other places in town has broadened our horizons, and, given us a better understanding of our own community that we've been in for 10 years.
Well, so let's do some of the housekeeping parts. So where are you? What's the address? How do people find you?
We're on 1802 North Carson Street, Suite 140. It's across the street from the old grocery outlet.
Okay.
And we usually put a little sandwich board out on Carson Street, so you can see it says tattoo, has an arrow. Because we're kind of tucked back in that building. It's called the Canyon Falls Business Center. I think
Right.
it used to be Evergreen.
Yeah, it was the Evergreen Center for a long time.
And the owners there are great. The building's awesome. Having leased a lot of different commercial units over the past 20 years, this is solid, and we like all the businesses in that building, which there are lots. We've got Crazy Fox Barber right next to us. Ricardo, he's awesome, and
We have to give a shout out, because he gave us that sandwich board.
yeah,
And that was the single best, that was a turning point for
it
us.
really was. Yeah,
Because, it's like you don't always look up what are the new tattoo shops in town. But as soon as people started seeing that sandwich board driving up Carson Street, it was like, that was when we really arrived. That's
Yeah.
when people knew that we were
Nice.
we
here.
love Ricardo. He's been barbering for like 60 years, and he has a lot of stories. Like, if you want to get your hair cut and talk to somebody really interesting,
So there's a whole
Go.
hidden gem over
There
there.
is,
that-
yeah.
And I've been across the street and don't even know this is going
it's
on.
no, but seriously, there's a lot of cool stuff over there. There's a bunch of nail salons. There's some churches. There's a game store upstairs called Desert Penguin Gaming. That's awesome. He's doing activities all the time throughout the week, different game workshops and miniature painting, and
Yeah, if you guys need good paint and you don't want to drive to Reno, you should just go to Desert Penguin if you guys are
Really?
painting miniatures.
I
Yeah.
didn't think about that for the paint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I used to drive to Reno like maybe twice a month to go and get the specific paint, and he has it upstairs.
Nice.
So, stop by Desert Penguin
gotta
if you
go
guys
check
don't want to
this out.
drive to Reno.
And we're not the only tattoo shop in
That's
there.
right.
There's Dark Willow, and they're more a specialty tattoo shop, but they've been very supportive for
Yes.
sure. Like they helped us get our special use permit, because in order to have a tattoo shop in the city limits, like not an industrial, it's a pretty long process. You have to go before the planning board. You have to submit a lot of paperwork.
Go knock on
and-
all the
Yeah,
neighbors'
Catherine-
doors and make sure
Right,
everybody's
yeah,
cool
they
with it.
contact everybody.
Yeah, Catherine at Dark Willow Emporium, she really helped us out a lot. She's awesome. She's been really great, which is also something that isn't. I mean,
It's a little unusual in the
yeah,
industry.
in the industry, it's a little unusual for one, potentially competing business to hold the hand of a new shop like that. That really said a lot to us. That here, I'll help you get your permit. I'll tell you the process, and the health department here is also awesome. We really enjoyed working with them,
Most of the time.
and
They were very helpful.
they're
in
super
making
helpful. They're-
Sure that, yeah.
it's a health department. They have a job to do.
I
right?
understand.
So, gotta understand that. But and the city of the planning department was incredibly helpful when we were getting this going. Also,
No, that's true.
Everybody-
It's a mountain to climb to license things credibly in Carson City. They are credible agencies, and you have to know how to interact with them. I've done it here a bunch. But just to climb that mountain sometimes can feel a little menacing. And if you have people helping you,
And so we're feeling like from the very beginning of this particular endeavor, it's been nothing but support and love and just like awesome community right here. And so everybody, have you been to the taco truck over there?
that's where I run shop.
That place is great.
I am guilty of living my life in the confines of A to Z and rolling in here at 8 o'clock in the morning and not leaving until.
Mike, it's literally across the street.
It's really good.
It is really good.
Those compas.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, no, I've definitely eaten at the food truck over there.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But
talking
I've
about.
never wandered into the building. And to be honest with you, up until that's not true. When I first started here in 2008 and it was Evergreen Center, it wasn't what it sounds like it is now.
It's changed a lot in the last 3
It
years.
was not very appealing for a long time, and I went over there and wandered around a little bit, and there was just nothing going on over there. I had no idea.
Yeah, what was it? 7% capacity just 3 years ago, and now
Right.
it's at 90 something.
Really?
Yeah, it's filling up.
Yeah, there's even there's a great wedding shop upstairs, Blue Champagne.
That's right.
These
And-
are all
Those
cool,
ladies
funky
are
bohemian shops. I mean,
Yeah.
holy
No, it's
smokes!
Yeah, if you want a vintage wedding dress, if you want to find out good venues, good photographers, they can help you with all of that. They've been really supportive, and they were the first local company that we kind of partnered with, and so we have a special going with them because. Now that the tattoos have become so ubiquitous and the stigma has really changed. You can have beautiful ink and nobody looks at you
Right.
askew, and so we if there's a bachelorette party that wants to come in, we partner with them, and we've got designs or husband and wife tattoos, just things to commemorate and to come in, and we encourage if we've had groups of 5 a couple times now, ladies coming in, and they're all just best friend tattoos, and either they're getting matching or they're getting different ones, and it's just really fun to
Yeah,
I'm really
offer
glad
an
you guys
environment
are
like
doing this with me. I'm across the street and have no idea. So how many people in Carson have zero idea?
That's the thing. Honestly, I didn't even know that building existed before we went and
No,
looked
it's
at a
been
unit
across
there.
the street from me, and you just
It's
stated
kind-
up until 3 years ago it was literally like occupied.
Yeah.
It was empty.
It's kind of an invisible, building. It's sort of nondescript looking, but the more interesting businesses are opening up there, the more it's becoming a kind of a center, an actual business center, like where there's.
So we need to figure out
commerce
how to
going on.
get you guys on the map and get some people going around there.
You should
We
talk-
need to
you
do a
should talk
North
with,
Carson wine walk.
I agree. Yeah, and
I
I
like
know
your idea of the North Carson district.
Yeah,
You know,
because we
being-
are
being
always
a-
right on the edge. It's actually a sore spot with me. Like you get retailers here in Carson have this awesome Nevada Day hit.
yeah.
They close the road in my block.
Right.
And basically lock everybody out. I'm like, I get angry about that, but that's my own.
Well, and so we were. I think our membership just expired with the Downtown Business Association because we were associate members, and I think it's a great organization. But I did feel left out, and because there's even a shop that's north of here that was grandfathered in, and they could be part of Wine Walk.
Right.
And we're even closer to downtown, and they said, well, you can go pour wine at one of the other shops, but you can't do anything.
Right.
And so I think that having, just a separate representation and even having, a position for one of their members and vice versa, just so we can coordinate and have things that bring, the heart of downtown to the, and just north of downtown. And I know it was a sore spot for even south, like down by the roundabout, down by
Right.
the mall. Now they felt left out too, and I'm thinking like, well, there's room for everybody. Like
Well, and there's in their defense, like the downtown association, they're good, and there's logistics. I mean, there's just like,
There's a-
look, we can't make somebody walk 10 miles for a wine.
Yeah.
walk. I
And
mean,
also, isn't it
So-
that's a technically defined district, right?
Yeah,
the
there is.
downtown.
Well, and
is.
they for a while they did have a trolley or like a street trolley to get people from the southern border of downtown and northern, like
which
during
is
the
all
wine.
good, but from what I'm listening to you, for what I know about the tap house that's starting up here, there's a little brew house right over here. There's myself. Everything you guys are describing.
Tap Shack, is that?
Yeah, the tap shack. And so there's enough growing out of the ground that it makes me sit there and go, why don't we consider doing our own?
I think we should.
Because
That'd
it's
be great.
because there is practicality. I have understood, even though I whine about getting left out of the parade, they got to stage it all somewhere. I understand. I do get whiny and pissy about it, but that's what happens. But I understand why they do it. Well, you know what I mean?
At least you're aware of it. Right?
I think something like Nevada Day in particular, if there were an event on the north side, because, after the parade ends at 1, what do people do? They still need places to go or activities, they got to fill the afternoon. There's nothing to say that we couldn't offer, live music at this end.
Well, we've been threatening with some of the people that we work with and stuff. And did you finish? I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no,
you
go
if
ahead.
I did. Especially since grocery outlets closed, we actually want to pull a full festival stage and do a festival in the parking lot.
I was gonna say you've got a pretty nice parking lot here.
Well, we didn't used to because we shared with grocery outlet.
Yeah.
They were always nice to us, and we did do some outdoor shows. But I mean, I'm talking just pull in a full weekend festival. Full blown outdoor stage, sound system, wine walk, and just let's see what we can do with our neighbors here in the north. Not that anybody downtown's bad or south is bad, but I think
There's room for it, and it's kind of densely packed up here with small businesses.
You know what? Let's get everybody together. Let's all have a nice block party.
Yeah,
Especially with how many of these new businesses have just popped up since COVID. What better way
Right.
to get our community together?
I am
than
literally
meeting
across the
each
street
other?
and am feeling ashamed. I have no idea what's going on. It's true.
It's like that. One thing that I've noticed about Carson is that it is really hard to get the word out for new businesses.
Right.
Like, I didn't even know half the little shops, like are right around here, your neighbor's here, until somebody said, oh yeah, I get a lot of jewelry at Easyware or Pulgasitas. That's where, somebody came in and it was his mom and sister have been running that shop, and they have all sorts of, gifty things and novelty items and, like Alberto's for shoe repair. That's a place to go in town for some, like neat shoes and repairs.
a place you can actually go get your boots fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to find.
Old
these
school
days, yeah.
style, man. Hey, I've had these hikers forever. Can you fix the rings in them so I don't have
What's
to
a
throw them away?
shoemaker called? Isn't there
What's a cobbler?
cobbler? That's
Cobbler.
it. Yeah, an actual cobbler.
Well, and I know that
That's
so
cool, man.
Yeah.
That shopping center at Winnie and Carson that has where the Salvation Army used to be, like right in there, they did a little event and after or like a
No,
few
but
more
it's the
events
same
times
dichotomy
because
as what you're talking about. Flavors of India closed down. Great restaurant. They were actually working with our school. Their food's amazing.
Dolly's the best.
Yeah.
We're good friends with her.
Right, but she had to close. She just
did.
couldn't
Yeah.
get it going.
But now she's got it. She's up.
Is she back going at it?
She's in
Yeah.
that particular shopping center.
Yeah, so
the
it
old
was.
Salvation
Yeah,
Army
she
used to be.
helped spearhead that with some of the other restaurants. So they did kind of a little taste. I believe
Did
that
she
that
stay
it's-
going though at Flavors of
Yeah,
India?
yeah,
She's
she's
open.
open. Yeah, they do.
Good as ever.
Buffet
Last
on
time I talked to
Sunday.
her, she was.
I think she's been there almost a year. Maybe?
Yeah,
Or
and
about
I
a
know
year?
that she's still trying to figure out the way to have the restaurant, because they used to get all that lunch crowd, and so trying to
Right.
figure out what days. She was closed Monday, Tuesday, and then I think she's going to start doing deliveries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so but yeah, it's best restaurant in town if you ask me.
Yeah.
No, she's great.
She's an amazing.
And
cook.
she's an amazing human being because with the school we were telling you about, they do 2-3 hour afternoons in her kitchen, and she's just
that
doing
right?
flavors of the world and doing
Oh man.
homeopathic cooking classes for them and
That's
stuff.
I didn't know that.
And she's just doing
that
it out
sounds
of.
like that sounds
She's
like
not
Dolly.
charging them the dime. She's just doing
She's
it
got a big heart.
straight
does.
out of her heart. And she'd take all the kids from our little private school over there, and they'd go spend the afternoon with her, and she just.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so there's a lot perking in all this. Let's do a big show.
Okay.
I could do a big concert and stage. We got plenty of good food around us. We got her,
Yeah.
San Marcos Grill,
Mm-hmm.
all those things. And there's so many little gem shops. There's everything I'm hearing about there. There's Vince's shop, play your own music right down the street.
Yeah, and Pastimes got some great vintage.
The card shop. John used to work over at the card shop.
Yeah, that place is great. Yeah, Pastime's like probably the best antique store I've ever been in.
Agreed.
It's awesome.
Agreed.
I mean, come on. No offense.
No, you're fine.
It's a little bit different.
It's not.
But yeah, like
pastime
like
is
the
not
clo-
what I aspire to be.
I understand.
You know, I actually did antiques for a couple of years, and everybody has their lane. You know, I am finding my own, and it appears to be this. You know, I'm not that guy that's going to explain to you why this 1800s hutch is cool.
$3,000.
It's just, no. Well,
Yeah, why it's that much.
anyway. So, no, pastime's great. And they're way better at doing it than I ever was, you know, by far.
Yeah, we love Mary. She's a good soul as well.
She's amazing. Matter of fact, I took all my old antiques that I couldn't sell, and I'm like, "You want them?" She's like, "Yeah, I know how to sell that." I'm like, "I don't."
That's great.
So let's start doing some stuff, and then any questions you guys have for me or anything?
How long have you had that little kitchenette thing going on?
Which in the store there?
Yeah.
About 7 years,
What?
but nobody knows about it. It's the
I
same.
heard a
thing.
rumor that your taps are going to be fixed soon.
They're already fixed.
They're already fixed. Oh,
We're
shit.
full and up and running. We had them serviced on Friday, and we used them this weekend. So
What do you got in kegs? There?
we got Shoehorn from local Shoe Tree.
Nice.
We got Standard Stella, and then Capital Beverage talked me into taking care of the ladies with, what did they call that? John's not on microphone this time.
It was like some.
We have a
some
mango
one,
wheat.
and
He's
then
like, you need to
stout.
get this for the ladies. And then we have a Kahona Big Wave Ale. And then we have scans too
Ooh.
as well.
Let me know if you ever end up getting any Black Rabbit mead.
Really?
So I know they're a company based out of Reno, but they're this beautiful meadery, and I know that they'll sell kegs.
So they're the same
Meadery.
ones that are doing the Songwriter Showcase in the Black Rabbit up
Yeah.
there. Is that the same
They
place?
did our wedding, and they're stunning. All of their meat is so delicious.
It seems kind of like a mead place too.
Can you get it
Yeah.
in a stein though? A stein of mead.
You know, I haven't been in their shop for a while, but I'm pretty sure that they do have some aesthetically pleasing
So
stuff.
what shop is this again?
Black Rabbit Meadery in Reno.
Right. And so the only thing that's ticking in my mind is, do they do events there? Or do they do small sales songwriter showcases and
they-
stuff there?
They're you can actually sit down and do like flights and stuff like that. You can get a drink, but they do have music there as well. They're a small little hole in the wall meadery.
I think that's where Elise Linder's doing her songwriter showcases. I
Maybe.
need to know them too. This is a very, very interesting conversation.
It is. No, I've never heard the word meadery before.
No.
We support the mead, the honey wines.
So what do they do? So explain this to me. What is a meadery?
A meadery.
Yeah, I
so
have no idea. This is a.
you know what mead is.
Well, I know what mead is.
Wait,
yes.
So
no,
they-
what is,
Explain
what
to
is
our
mead? Tell me
audience.
about mead.
Mead. So
Because I always imagine it being thick and like
no, it's not.
oatmeal-y and
No,
coming in a
no.
fucking big stein. Like,
Absolutely not. Mead is it's a honey wine, so it's not. It. Oh man. Well, I'm not a pro at this, but
but
it's hops and honey, to
Okay.
my understanding. So it's brewed a different way.
then beer.
Yes, but it might be brewed the same. I don't. Again, I'm
Okay.
not the
But it's not
the mead
beer.
Scientologist here.
Not beer.
It's not beer. But yeah, they have like elderberry, honey, and like jalapeno, mango, pineapple.
Oh gosh, that sounds
I mean,
amazing.
they have so many different flavors.
you
They
use-
also hand make their own kombucha there.
Oh, nice.
Really?
I mean, they're
Ooh, yeah, you need some
And-
kombucha on tap.
listen, as somebody who literally spent 3 years looking for the mead to have at my wedding because we wanted authentic mead.
Really meaty mead.
Yes, the meatiest. You know, and going to Total Wine and everywhere else that sells that, there were literally only 3 options. And the only person that we knew was out in like Wisconsin, and there was no way for them to, you know, make us a whole barrel for a wedding. And this shop literally had just opened up, and I guess my husband had been passing by and he saw it and went in there and tried every single different flavor that they had.
Wow.
And ended up talking to somebody who worked there. I'm not sure if he was like the assistant owner or what kind of management he was, but they ended up making it to where we could have a whole keg of mead for our wedding. And we got married like during COVID. So this was very, very awesome to have a local business literally help support our secret backyard wedding. And
Like-
it was delicious. And I mean, like, even after a month, still having half a keg, you know, just mead whenever you want. It was
Do you drink
their
it warm?
quality.
Is it that sort of thing?
Do they
Or like
distribute it
room,
all?
room temperature?
you can have it room temperature. I mean, I prefer to have it chilled, but
Okay.
So it just comes out of a draft type machine? It
yeah,
just-
for the most part. I mean, and they
Wow.
do sell individual bottles there of all the different flavors as well.
Is it sweet?
Yes.
And like higher alcohol content than beer, like wine? You said
I
honey
do
wine,
believe
so-
I do believe
like
that it's
12
higher content
plus.
than beer. Yes.
And your
Or
husband went and
maybe-
tried
or
every
maybe
single
like
one of
8.
them
I remember
Yeah.
all at
having-
once.
Well, I think he went like in the span of like 3 days. He got a flight
Uh-huh.
of.
She's revising
think
her
that-
story now.
We'll have to ask Corey, okay?
You get her in trouble. here.
But no, I mean, I think the flights came with like 6, and I believe they were very reasonable. I think it was like $16 for a flight. They're like about I don't know
And it's-
sizes of tasters, but I mean probably
And
about
so
that
it's
much.
it's fizzy, like beer.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
and not thick. That's not. That's
It's
just,
not
That's
thick.
just somehow in my head.
I think it's cloudy. Maybe that's what
Okay,
you're thinking.
maybe.
Is
Is
that
it
I've
cloudy?
had some that are
It's
that
not
are
cloudy.
No,
Okay.
no. I
can't
mean
remember.
it
Used to have-
visually has a look of beer, I guess. But,
Yeah.
in
check it out.
regards to having a local company that does mead is really amazing, and that's the thing
A
that
meadery, a local meadery.
yes, the meatiest.
Mead.
meatiest
M-E-A-D. How do you spell it? Mead. I've never even heard this. term.
MEAD, yes,
Meadery.
yes.
I'd have to go check out the meadery.
Does that make us a tattooery?
Ay, ay, ay.
That sounds
Funny.
good to me. An eatery? I don't know.
Well, I think I have a familiarity with the business, but it's from the music angle. Actually, Elise Linder, who's doing an event here at the end of the month, does a showcase there all the time. And so, I mean, I don't know.
Cool.
Maybe I can get them to sit where you guys are sitting and tell me all about it.
Yeah, it's and they do tours. They'll actually, if you go in there and you ask, they'll give you a tour and they'll show you how they make everything.
I wonder if they can distribute. I wonder if I can carry it.
I know that a couple other shops carry Black Rabbit.
See, I would rather carry that, like you're talking about my taps, and I do that, but I would much rather carry, although I've never heard of mead.
Try it out.
We'll see how it goes and
Yeah.
stuff.
Toss the Stella and,
All right.
get some mead.
So with Odyssey Tattoo, are walk-ins welcome? Do you need
Walk-ins
to
are
make an
welcome. We don't
appointment?
have any shop minimum, which is also unusual in the industry. And we do our billing just hourly. So you get what it costs. Like we're not pricing things out. We feel like if you give a set price for a tattoo, either the customer gets an off deal or we get an off deal. The minute the needle starts, that's when we start billing. When it's done, that's how long it took. That's what you pay.
Wow.
And we do all sorts of different custom designs. If you've got a picture that you really love, we can work it up and make a nice stencil of it. If you want a custom design, you can work with Bria or with me or Marshall to come up with just the design that
Get
you
some-
want. And
I've-
so
I've had a lot of new terms today. Get some prophetic art.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I've never heard that term before, though.
Yeah, I mean that was something that I did for a long time. I mean, me myself, I studied to be a graphic novelist for about 5 years, so I'm happy to sit down with anybody and pen and paper, draw
And
out
she
the
does,
idea with
regularly.
you.
And take words and convert them to an
There,
image.
there's nothing like having something drawn right in front of you, especially like, just explaining an emotion or a feeling. Sometimes you can't relay that other than in person. So having
Absolutely not.
having a pen and paper just really goes sometimes.
and Marshall really loves color. And so, if somebody wants a color piece, he's the guy. And
I love doing color tattoos. And Bria's got this ability to actually draw something on you, like with pen, and then tattoo it. So like you can get something truly custom, right on your body.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite the.
we take a lot of inspiration, not just from art, but from the tattoo. So, everything has changed with the internet. and with Instagram, TikTok, and everything, because now we follow tattoo artists from all over the world. And the style, you can see that the style is different, whether it's, in South Korea, or if it's in Italy or Argentina. And so to be able to follow all these artists and to see what's coming out of all the different, cultures in the world, it gives our customers, our clients, a lot more options in terms of look and feel and inspiration. And so we really love to just check out the other art that's coming out in the world. And
we're also, we typically, frequently work together as a team on a piece. So there's not a, it doesn't have to be what I think it should be necessarily, or if sometimes Bria will draw extra leaves or flowers onto a piece that I'm about to tattoo, and then I'll tattoo it, which is highly unusual in the tattoo world.
Yeah, we're very
Typically-
team orientated,
Yeah.
but we also work well together.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
It makes it a lot
we
of
all
fun.
want the best thing for whoever is in our shop.
Exactly.
And sometimes just one of us as an individual may not be able to get that, so we all try and collaborate together so that way they're getting the best of what we have to offer.
And that's actually something you're not going to get on TikTok or Instagram. And as this conversation evolves, that's one thing, especially post-pandemic. Even your talk about the wedding and, this, how we were all forced into this place where I was sneaking around having birthday parties for my kids, felt like a criminal. It was,
Having a secret backyard wedding was really intense.
and in all due respect to the pandemic, I do not mean that some of it, anyway.
No, it was a fucked up time. What are you talking about?
It was jacked.
That shit was
It was
not cool.
absolutely
Like-
jacked.
Yeah.
But what it did bring back into view in a lot of this conversation that is warm is, it is amazing to be able to follow. I follow business owners. I follow a bunch of people on Facebook, Instagram, all this stuff, and I get information I couldn't get anywhere else. But I've lost touch with my community as I'm getting so broad stroked and everything. I've lost touch, and I became really aware of that over the pandemic. It's like, oh, awesome, but if all this stuff goes down, who do I turn to? Where do I go to do all this? And you cannot replace human interaction with digital interaction. As good as it's getting, I don't believe it'll ever be replaced. And so you can go on Instagram and find a tattoo artist and do his life, but you're not going to be able to walk in a shop and get to know an artist and have an artist take the time to get to know you. You're never going to replace that with the internet.
You can't do that virtually.
No, you cannot do that.
Well, you can't do that with most things, be it tattoo or, here at A to Zen or
No.
even at a grocery store.
Yeah,
You cannot neglect human interaction.
Right. And that's one thing the pandemic starkly brought back into view for me was,
Sure did.
okay, this is awesome. World Wide Web is awesome. The potential of, reach and all these followers and all this stuff. You cannot replace it with the people around you in your community and what drives that. I was so reminded harshly.
Well, maybe that's a good thing that we know that now, right? Like, okay, we tried doing kids going to school over Zoom or whatever, and
Right.
it didn't work. Like, so now we know, right, for sure, that the fucking metaverse or whatever the shit is coming, that's not the way. It's not.
it doesn't
it's
feel
not.
the same. That you don't get that collective consciousness, that experience. And I really noticed it was, I think, last summer when everything started coming back, and like the outdoor concerts that the Brewery Arts Center was putting on, and I just noticed that at the fountain at McFadden Plaza, just so many people out and about everywhere.
Right.
It was like everybody was just craving that human touch, that just seeing everybody and enjoying something together and feeding off the energy of the crowd. And so I think it's like people, like Marshall said, we all realize how important that is, and we're all now more motivated to go out into our communities. And I think that what's really holding some people back is just the venue for that. Who do you go to? Where do you go? Where do you start when trying to build your community up? And so I think that you're on your way to getting that ball rolling.
Well, and independent shops, I think, is a big part of it. I think what's anesthetized our communities as well is Walmarts and Targets and people veering into these big blocks of things, and we've lost the local barber, the cobbler. Is that
The cobbler. Didn't know
Or
we had a
even-
cobbler. That's awesome.
Even apparel, like that's been something that I'm, excited to see a lot of little apparel shops, so, whether it's consignment or, independent, but just, being able to, I don't have to go to Target anymore. There are other
Right,
places
but it
to check
jumps out of that. Like, I was severely humbled over one of the most humbling things I experienced over the pandemic was, and it brought me into tune with what we're talking about a little bit more is we got shuttered for a year. We closed, and I willingly closed. It's like, okay, I get it. But we were closed for a year, and it's like, okay, I guess I'm not essential except for how am I going to pay my bills? That's a problem. And multiple times through all the years that we've done music and all this other things and being who we are in this community, let's knock at the door. And I go to the door and I'm like, hey, I'm closed. Like, it's a pandemic. And the guy's like, I know. I'm here. Here's a check. I'm here to give you money because I know you're closed. And this happened to me no less than 10 times.
It's amazing.
Right. I literally was brought to tears a few of the times because it was a dark time. But what it made me understand was that in the micro community part of things, the impact that I didn't know I was making in just my immediate surroundings. And I also made me understand how supported I was in a good way. And I, especially post-pandemic, in shops like yours and shops like mine and shops like the meadery, I think we need to figure out how to,
Yeah, let's make it stronger than ever.
we need to kind of come back home. And I'm very anti-chain store because I'm a small retailer. That's just my thing. I don't like the Walmarts and the Targets of the world. I hate it. But anyway, that was my spiel, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm with you. I like that.
Okay.
That's good.
So you guys come and check out Odyssey Tattoo, 1802.
1802, North Carson.
Sounds like there's a whole lot going on in that building that you would never know from the front. We're gonna have to get some ways to get some traffic through there just to check it all out. Can you wander through there like on a regular
sure can.
day? I mean, is everything open like a store? Is it? I have such a strange, skewed perception of that building.
Well, yeah, it's a little.
There are a
you
lot
know.
of appointment only. I think that because it's so off the beaten path that it's not sustainable for a lot of the shops to be open 9 to 5.
Right.
But
I know Desert Penguin is.
yeah, Desert
know,
Penguin is.
he's there and-
But I think most of them are, or majority at this point are appointment only. But
yeah, you can go into the entrance to the inside of the building is in the center of there's a long building, and then there's a door and some stairs, and you can go up and wander around. That's interesting.
Come check it out, you guys. This has been Mike from A to Zen. I'm here with Bria, Michelle, Marshall, from Odyssey Tattoo. Appreciate you guys' time. It's been a great conversation.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for having us.
Hey everybody, this is Big John over at A to Zen. Just wanted to take the time to thank you for watching our videos. Go ahead and click on the subscribe button, like, comment. Go ahead and click that little notification so you know whenever we have a new video up. We're gonna have plenty of content on there, and we have plenty of content already, so just go ahead and start checking it out, and we'll make sure to upload more videos. Thanks again for watching.